Welcome to Nepi Invest the World. So why did AVA Group's share price just go gangbusters today? And yesterday, I shouldn't leave that out. So on the Monday, 31st of August, around 5:56 p.m., give or take a few minutes or so, AVA Group did release their financial year report. They have hinted in the past that it was going to be a good year for them, and they expected, to be profitable, that sort of thing. And the market, once it opened on Tuesday, really got excited initially when it was up as high as 18% early on in the day. But then selling during the day, consistent selling, saw the share price fall to only be up by 4% at close, which was a bit of a disappointment for shareholders, I would assume. I wasn't that disappointed, but I would expect most people would have been. But it was a good day compared to the rest of the market because the rest of the market was down 1.7%. Today, however, the sentiment in the overall market went from highly negative yesterday to highly positive today. So it was up 1.8% in the end. And AVA Group really was one of the beneficiaries of that. So a lot of excitement in the AVA Group share price today. And by the end was up 28%. And the reason it was up was because of their financial year results. And let's have a look at those results. But before that, what does AVA Group do for those who don't know? So they have two divisions, and technology division is separated into two units. So FFT was their initial sort of division when they originally IPO'd in, I think it was 2016 or 2015. They were actually a FFT. They were called FFT. And they just design and manufacture fiber optic intrusion detection systems. So essentially that's just perimeter security. So fairly high margins in that. I'm thinking 60 to 7%, maybe a little bit higher than 70%. So really good margins in that side of the business. BQT, I have a feeling they acquired BQT a few years ago. So that's, again, design and manufacture of electromechanical locks, biometrics and access control cards, card readers and biometric terminals. And then the other division is their services division. So they call that the AVA Global Logistics. And they're into secure international logistics and storage for high value assets and risk consultancy services. So like one of the things they do in that service division is they transport banknotes, gold, precious metals. So securely transport, that is, from one location to the next. We've seen that is a lower margin business or division, but even though it's lower margin, it is actually got really good revenue growth over the past year, as I'll show you in a second. So these are some of their results from released yesterday or on Monday. And you can see on the left-hand side, just one of their pages from their annual report. We've got revenue, EBITDA, NPAT, profit after tax, and net operating cash flow. So especially the last one there, well, revenue and operating cash flows are ones I really like to look at. And we've seen really good growth, revenue growth year on year, and net operating cash flow. I think we're starting to see those margins really kick in. And operating cash flow of $6 million last year. So that's really good. And on the right-hand side, I've just included some of my own metrics that I include or look at for each company. So the share price the 1st September was 0.235. Shares on issue, I also include performance rights, that sort of thing. So they're not really included sometimes in the shares on issue, but I think to be conservative, I like to include them. So just under 243 million. So based off that, market cap's 57 million. Earnings per share is 2. PE ratio is nothing too great, 11. Enterprise value, they've got net cash of about $7 million, so $7 million in cash, no debt. So enterprise value is only 49 million. And then enterprise value divided by the operating cash flow, something I like to look at, 8.2. Typically for like value plays, I like to see that below 6, but AVA Group's growth play, so they can be above 6, and they're not too much above 6. So good numbers there. Even their gross margins at 48%. It's not too much lower than you'd say you'll see in a tech stock, which typically has margins above 50% or so. So good numbers there, I like to see. In the segment performance, so on the left, you can just read about what they do to each the segment. So perimeter security is FFT, access control systems is BQT, and international valuable logistics is just the AVA, global logistics. And on the right, you can see how they did from year to year, each division or each segment. So perimeter security, FFT, and AVA global have really gone good with increasing revenues, increasing EBITDAs. BQT hasn't really increased their revenues all that much, only by about 100 or 50,000, but they have gone EBITDA positive, which is good. So probably their best two segments are FFT and their services division over the past year. Now looking at the charts, as I mentioned, they IPO'd in 2015, and they did get to a high just after IPOing of about $1.20. You can just see just negative sentiment. So this is looking at a 5-year weekly chart. So all these bars, all these candlesticks are just a week long. You can see from June 2016 was a bad year for any FFT holders. Share price went from $1.10 to all the way down to 20 cents, and just consistent selling all through that year. Not on high volume, but I think I'm not sure why they were selling, but I think sentiment just changed for some reason. Maybe an old holder of FT can tell me why, but sentiment definitely changed. Then we've seen really a consolidation period over the last 3 years or so. We've seen little bounces up, but then it's been dragged back down by a bit of selling. It got to a low of about 8 cents in the COVID-19, but we've seen sentiment change in the last few months. You can just see sentiment, when I mean sentiment change, you can see the moving averages cross each other here, and now the share price is above the moving averages. And coinciding with that change in the crossing over of the moving averages, share price now higher, we've seen an increase in volume. So that could be more funds joining in. There's more excitement in AVA. So sentiment's changed. I like to see positive sentiment when I in a stock, in a company. And we've definitely seen that in the 6-month daily chart. So each one of these is a daily candlestick chart. So I actually did enter this stock around 11 cents or so. Around here, I was just liking what they were saying. In the past, management has been over promising and under delivering. This new management team seemed to be quite opposite. They were under promising and over delivering, which is much better for the shareholder, much better for the share price. You can see share price really went from about 8 cents to doubled in price, 16 cents. Then we saw a really good, healthy consolidation period. Good announcement in July, which did see the share price get to a high as 21 or 21 cents, but then a lot of selling on the day brought it back down. So still had a bit of negative sentiment. So I think there were sellers who probably bought way back in the day for like 50 cents or so, were selling out, seeing that spike in price. They all sold out around this time, because the next time we saw a big spike in share price, there was not a lot of selling in that. You can see it finished on the high this day, so around 25 cents or so. We've seen really good consolidation since then, increasing in volume too. And then yesterday, probably not the best candlestick chart here, because it opened on the high, finished on the low. But I think that's more to do with the market sentiment, overall market sentiment. Saw good volume too. So I'll show you what happened today in a second. But before I get to that, probably one thing to notice is they do have a large shareholder selling. They've gone from 20, this large shareholders were holding 27 million a few weeks ago. Now they're only holding 18.8. So I think they've had 3 notices about their selling. So that it's probably suppressed the share price from really rising. Sometimes when you see large shareholders selling, it actually will force the share price lower. But because I think there's positive sentiment, share price has just been going sideways for a few weeks or 3 weeks or so. So even though they've been selling into some buying, which has been healthy. They might have stopped selling now, because right up today, I thought they would have sold out, or would have sold quite a few shares today because of quite a bit of buying, but the share price went up a fair bit. They're probably feeling a bit bad. They sold out in the last few weeks before the share price really got it going on. So tough luck. That's all I can say. Some important info since the 1st of July. So the annual report, of course, is from the 1st of July 2019 to the 30th of June 2020. So some information since then. So the quarterly cash flow report released on the 30th of July showed really good numbers. So I was very bullish when I see net operating cash flow of $4 million in one quarter. So if you times that by 4, that's $16 million over a year. It's an assumption doing that. I don't want to make an ass out of you and me, but that's pretty substantial numbers for one quarter for a company that's on a fairly low market cap. So share price, as you would think with that, I was bullish and the market was very bullish that day too. So share price increased 46% on that day. That was that really big up day I mentioned. And then on the 25th of August, so this is actually relevant for the new financial year because this is in regards to service division revenue for July, which was $3 million. So if you remember, they had $25.5 million for the whole year. That's 12 months, so it's about $2 million a month. This was $3 million for a whole month. So it does look like they are gaining more, revenue, expanding the revenue take monthly per month in July, start of this month. So very bullish that announcement, in my opinion, but the share price only increased by 2%. And they even mentioned there's a little bit more margins there too. So it's looking good, those two announcements. And then what do we see today? So you can see that release of the Appendix 4C, we saw this big update here, and then a bit of consolidation period, and then the next big update was this one here, which seen the share price get to 30 cents, which is their high, multi-year high. Finished on the high, that's another bullish sign. Good volume, that's another bullish sign. So what I like now for the next few days is just to go sideways, potentially trace back to 26 cents or so. That would be very healthy too, just like we saw with this one here. We did see the share price come back to about 21 cents, meeting the high of this high point here. You can see that there's a bit of resistance. And now I think the resistance is going to be around 25, 26 cents. So if it comes back to there, that'll be very healthy. We just want to see consolidations, share price move sideways over the next few days, next week or so, maybe next few weeks, just to force out those traders or long-time holders who just want to sell out, who've missed the more recent spike in share price. So very bullish. I'm very bullish on AVA Group. The next, and no matter how long, the only way I'm going to sell out this company is if the story changes. Maybe they come out with announcements that revenues are starting to decrease. They do have a few risks. They do have a few companies where they get a lot of their revenue from, including an Indian government role, subject, whatever, project, I suppose you can call it. And I think interest would be, once that project finishes, are they going to maintain that sort of revenue streams in other areas? So overall, very bullish. I'm very excited with this company moving forward. Hope you've enjoyed this YouTube video. Just to let you know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just doing these videos for my own benefit, really. And it's just to view this as entertainment purposes. Hope you did get something out of it. If you do enjoy this video, just subscribe to my channel, because I'm looking forward to do more companies like AVA Group, and then I'll continue to do updates with AVA Group moving forward. And I'm not a financial advisor, so if you do need financial advice, do not get it from me, get it from a professional, especially in a company like this, because there is still a lot of risk with small caps like this. So got to keep an eye on it, and I hope you do well in your future endeavors, and I hope AVA Group does substantially well in the next year or so. Have a good day. Talk to you later.